question, why an underground house?
And of course, the good answer is, why not?
Yeah.
When we joined the Navy in 1973,
Yes.
and in that time period, we began reading Mother Earth News.
Yep.
And had everything we talked about was going back to the way things used to be as far as managing your lives around a farm. Everything you grow, you eat. You grow a pig, you eat. You don't take it to market, you eat it. So in Mother Earth News, of course, there were always hundreds of articles that you could read about doing all of that. And in the latter years of the Navy, which would have been 76, an article came out about a gentleman down in southern Illinois. He had built a cave home. And his walls literally had rocks embedded in the walls, in the concrete. I mean, he put rocks.
Yeah.
And that part didn't thrill me so much, but the idea of being underground did, because of safety factors for tornadoes. I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
Hurricane ain't going to touch us. Even being underground for an earthquake, since Illinois is supposed to be on some kind of earthquake zone. Being in the ground, it's going to move with the earth instead of on top, where you're going to go against the earth and fall down. You're moving in the ground, so it shouldn't collapse, technically.
Right.
So that's what got us to thinking. And then when we got out of the Navy in 77, we took a trip down there and visited with the gentleman. And he was selling blueprints with his company called Davis Caves. That's what he called the company. So we bought a set of prints for $150, brought it home, changed things to where we wanted them, standard walls and normal looking inside. Like I said, I wasn't too thrilled. I think we had a rock fall on the ground when we were visiting, and when we visited the house in the first place, we had a rock fall out of the wall. So we weren't too keen on the rocks in the wall idea. I mean, it was pretty cool. It did look like a Flintstone house, but I didn't want rocks falling on people if they were visiting the house. So we bought the prints and started the search for property. Found 9 acres in Warren County that was being split up in a divorce situation. And we bought 9. Another gentleman had already bought the next 8 up. and the other didn't get sold for a long time, and the neighbor finally bought it for the horses. So we started construction at the same time the neighbor started his underground home. He was a construction man, so he was doing his differently than we were doing ours. But him having his own company, he did help us with our major layouts, and he had a backhoe, and so he was doing some of the digging. The first cut in the ground with the bulldozer, we had found a guy who said, "It's the first job of the year. I'll do it for $100. I said, "Okay." He said, "This shouldn't take long." I don't know what he was thinking about, because we went 13 foot deep, and he had to clear out a area probably 80 foot circle of where the frame of the layout of the house was going to be. So he was here for a long time for $100, and he's voiced several times that he thought he made a bad choice. But he stuck by it, and we paid him his money, and he went on his way. So we started construction and laid up brick walls or concrete block walls, and used block bond to seal them. There was no joint work at all. He just stacked them up dry. And then we poured a 1 foot thick concrete pour for the roof, and it had 4 tons of rebar in it. We went and found a lumber mill that would give us just some rough cut shoring timbers for when we poured the ceiling, because you lay out plywood and then shore it up. And we had our own little forest in here of 4x4s that were like 2 or 3 foot apart. That's how close we put them. And even with that, we still had a couple of breakthroughs where concrete would break through the plywood because it wasn't shored up enough. And when that got done, we backfilled 4 foot of dirt on top of it, and here it sits.
So have you seen that basically I guess the question would be,
Did I make changes?
if you went back and could redo it
Yes,
again?
I would.
Yeah.
Number one, I wouldn't put a 12 foot pour. I would have it would be more of a basement home instead of an underground home, because you can't do anything with the ceiling if it starts to leak or crack, or you literally will have to dig it up to do anything with it. And even then, you probably couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would not go totally underground. I would put a standard roof line on it.
So what was the actual length of time that it took to build? You said broke ground and...
We broke ground in '78, probably in April. I got a picture of him making his first cut. And then we lived in it. We were in it in December. While we were building it, we had a truck camper that we lived in out here.
Yeah.
And in the winter of '78, we were in here all hunkered down. Wood stove. It was not complete at that time. I don't even think we had backfilled it by December. I can't remember that. I don't remember if we got it. I know we had the back sidewalls buried, but I don't know about the roof was done yet. So it was pretty cold. I mean,
Yeah.
then you were strictly in a concrete cooler, basically, is what you were in. So
Yeah.
it was a pretty cool winter.
Now when did the well get dug? I know that was...
The well got dug right away. We had them dig a well. We had them drill a well while the house was being constructed.
Yeah. So that there was water.
Yeah,
on
we
site.
always had water
Uh,
and electricity, of course, was all brought in.
So from what you said, you were already planning when you were in the Navy. You were already planning to build a house to get
To be as efficient as possible. Yes.
right. So you were already planning on that before then. How easy was it to find the property itself?
Surprisingly, it just popped up. I mean, there wasn't,
Yeah.
Somehow, and I can't even tell you how we found out about it, but it showed up and we heard that they were selling 9 acres, and we came out and looked at it, and it was in a hill and there was a valley and there was water running through it, so it fit everything we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to go to other sources for where we found it.
Yeah.
It was more interesting when we went to State Farm and said, we need this insured. And Dennis Twitty, the agent at the time, took it on because it was the first underground home that State Farm had ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Illinois. Maybe all over, I don't know. But Dennis always said that we were the first underground home that State Farm ever underwrote as far as insurance.
Yeah. So what has been added to it that you've
the upgrades
done over the years?
Well, eventually we did change over to geothermal heat. And after we had first built it, I did try a solar hot water system of just black pipe on the roof line, which is, of course, as inefficient as it was, it did work. So we did get a little hot water that way into the hot water heater. We did have instant hot water heater gas, and when you have a large family, having hot water all the time makes a huge difference. Then we got the geothermal heat, and in 2016 we added 12 kilowatts of solar panels, which just sit there and make electricity. Don't do anything to them, they just sit there.
I guess the biggest question would be, are you happy with it?
Oh, it's served its purpose.
Yeah.
Would I knock it down? Yeah, I don't know. There was many times I wanted to clear off the top, and there was a company in Florida that sold a 50-foot geodesic concrete dome.
Oh, yeah.
And I've always wanted to do that. Just put it on top. I mean, the footings are there. All you gotta do is set it up there and build it. I mean,
yeah.
But that's 50-foot dome is 13 foot high, so it technically would be 2 more floors.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool. But I've never pushed it. So kids finally moved out, and I didn't need any more room. So.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny because I've always liked geodesic domes, so it's.
I know. I mean, it would be cool. It would be good. It would also fix any leak problem. So.
Yeah. Because I think you've got covered over the kitchen skylight area to
slow
that one.
to slow. No, it doesn't stop.
Oh,
it just slows. It's still fine. Water goes where it wants to go, no matter what you do about it. So it still finds its way in there in a big rain. But the whole idea of the underground home is the constant temperature at 13 foot.
Yeah.
It's 52 degrees, and no matter what time of year it is.
Right.
So it just cycles through, and it's great for air conditioning because it doesn't take nothing to air condition this. To heat, it takes a little more to heat just because it's a concrete structure. So once you get the heat up to the body of the wall, then it's not so bad. But it takes a good month to get that wall heated back up to 72 degrees. So
Right.
can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.